I've gotten a couple of comments requesting this app specifically, so thanks for piping up, especially because this one was not on my radar in the slightest. So if you have anything you would like me to review, please leave a comment below and I will try my best to get to it. I had to take a break from both making videos and training for a couple of months due to a, let's call it a boo-boo. As a result of that as well, most of the training footage you're going to see in this video, they're going to mostly feature me training to mild discomfort. I just want to give the weights a little bit of time to get used to me again. Similar to Fitbod, Hevy doesn't really seem to have a major influence or attachment. Instead, it looks like a couple of folks who used to work at 8Fit decided to go into business for themselves a few years ago. I had heard of 8Fit, but I never really encountered it. So as part of researching this review, I decided to take a look at it. And based on the workout that they posted for free, I understand how Hevy kind of exists in opposition to 8Fit. Hevy can be used as a logbook, a workout builder, and it's got a bit of a social component to it too. I would compare it to something like Strava, where people can see each other's workouts and give each other kudos and leave comments. As a reminder off the top, or if this is your first review of mine that you've watched, I always rate and review based on what the app or program is claiming it is trying to do. And I always give my final score at the beginning of the video so you can program hop more efficiently than ever. My final score for Hevy is 7.5 out of 10. This is a much simpler app than a lot of the other ones I have reviewed so far, and I do see that as mostly a positive. After all, one of the central ideas that I have built my channel and my overall coaching business around is that more people should be lifting. As such, any tool that makes lifting feel simpler and less intimidating for me is a good thing. The app has a few ways that it achieves this. For one, the community aspect of it actually seems like a pretty nice feature. For me, I've always been content to exercise alone, but I do remember that, especially when I was first getting into it, what I wished for was more people I could talk to about it outside of the gym. The app's design and the workouts themselves are all very simple, they're very approachable, and importantly, they don't fall into the weird fluff that you would see in something like, oh, I don't know, whatever this is. And it's cheap. So many of these apps that I have encountered feel like they cost an arm and a leg. So the fact that this one costs less than $50 a year, for me, that's a breath of fresh air. Now, the app will not be everyone's favorite, not by a long shot. That low price point that I am praising in part reflects that it is a much less feature-heavy app than some of the others I've reviewed. As such, I doubt this will be the first choice for a lot of lifting nerds, people who want all those little extra goodies. But instead, I would recommend this very strongly for people who identify as beginners, who are basically brand new to resistance training, or for people for whom training is basically a checklist item in their week and they just don't want to think about it too much. I guess I just described most people. So if you fit into those two categories and you're still curious, on to the rest of the review. On effectiveness, I'm giving it 2 out of 2. If you apply yourself fully to these workouts that it is serving to you, you're going to see results. When onboarding, and you can change these settings anytime, you tell it whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced trainee, and whether you're training for strength, hypertrophy, or fat loss. I did play around with these a little bit, and at this point, I'm still not quite sure what it changes in response to you calling yourself a beginner, an intermediate, or advanced. I basically got served the same workouts, same sets and reps no matter what. And the main difference from strength versus the other two is that the rep ranges are lower and the exercise selection's a little different. The thing I'm not sure about is the difference between hypertrophy and fat loss as far as what that changes in the programming. I did try both and they both looked basically the same. More moderate rep ranges, slightly different exercise selection that you could call more like hypertrophy friendly. Romanian deadlifts versus deadlifts from the floor, for example. For the record, I don't see that intrinsically as a problem since there really isn't a difference between the type of training you would do during fat loss versus what you would do when trying to grow a muscle. They are functionally, from a resistance training standpoint, the same goal. In fact, part of me wonders, and this is something that only occurred to me when I started filming, maybe it is kind of just a dummy button situation. You may have heard that in some of those crosswalks where there's a button to push to prompt to cross, that button isn't actually wired to anything. It just makes you feel better. It makes you feel like you're in control of something. I wonder if they basically made it the same for hypertrophy versus fat loss. You just pick the one that you think you're supposed to be training for, and it just gives you the same training. Can't confirm that, but so far they look identical. The exercise selection is mostly basic staples based on the equipment you tell it you have access to. You're gonna get basic squat movements, basic press movements, basic pulling movements, and depending on how long you tell it you're available to work out, some basic isolation movements. And the programming is very straightforward. It's all built around double progression, meaning that once you can do all of your sets at the top end of that rep range, it will suggest that you increase the weight the next session. I think part of the problem is it doesn't really do a good job of accounting for intensity, which is something I'll get to in the later portions of the review. But if you just keep following the progression and you're doing it honestly and you're not cutting yourself short, this will work. This is an approach to training that will absolutely get you results as long as you are honestly pushing hard each set. On usability, I'm giving it a 1 out of 2. The app isn't bristling with features in the way some of the others I've reviewed are, but what it delivers very well. The UI is one of the easiest to use that I have encountered. It's very intuitive, it's very streamlined, and it's very pleasantly designed. It's easy to look at, to interact with, and I can find everything that I want to find in the place that I would expect to find it. The exercise demos are just those anatomical GIFs that I've seen everywhere. If anyone knows where there's a database of these, I would love to have access to it, frankly. And the written instructions for each exercise are very simple and clear and easy to follow. So even if you're relatively new, you should be able to figure out how to do each of these movements pretty much on your own. Okay, but seriously, where do these GIFs come from? Does anyone know? Please tell me if you know. Comment below if you know. With all that in mind, there are a couple of features that are mentioned in the marketing material that I haven't quite figured out how to access yet, specifically how to log drop sets or failure sets. So far, it just lets me log sets and reps. I figured out how to opt into also logging RPE, and it gives you an easy way to add notes, which is always useful. I mentioned RPE a moment ago, and my main gripe with the way they've set this up is that I don't think that should be an opt-in, especially one that's kind of discreetly hidden. It should be front and center. I was scripting the review as though RPE just wasn't there, and then I found it. I went looking one last time and I found it. And the fact is that if it doesn't occur to you to look, you probably aren't going to end up having that. And I do think that logging your efforts is important. And even when I was using the RPE feature, it never, ever, ever gives you any guidance on how hard your sets are supposed to be. Supposed to be. How hard your sets are intended to be. Even in the science section, where you can learn more about the principles of the training that they are programming for you, there's no real reference to intensity or effort. By which I mean, it never says that you should be training to muscular failure or volitional failure or technical failure or to a certain rep and reserve or RPE target. It just doesn't say anything. And subsequently, it also doesn't indicate whether some exercises should be pushed harder than others or if it's just uniform. And this does matter because without that guidance, a lot of folks are just not going to train that hard. I've seen it myself in the gym. And if you're not giving them instruction, that's your fault. I know that a lot of people are skeptical of RPE, especially RPE for beginners. I'm looking at you, Rip.
This RPE bullshit has made people a bunch of money, but it's complete bullshit.
But even if you aren't tracking RPE specifically, there should be some instruction in any training program about how hard your sets should be. I don't think that's controversial. As I mentioned in the section on effectiveness, if you apply yourself, if you continue to actually push as hard as you can reasonably go and try to progress every session, you're going to get results. But this could lead potentially to a trainee who just bumps up against the edge of their performance and then is now taking every single set to failure, to grinding momentary muscular failure.
Oh, that's a Dora Shin!
They'll definitely see some solid hypertrophy results from doing that, but they might start to feel a little beaten up. And if they were training for strength rather than hypertrophy, that can also hinder their results, because it has been pretty widely shown that submaximal efforts are actually much, much better in the long run for strength training, for increasing your strength performance. And so they'll find themselves just beating the hell out of themselves session after session, just trying to get the next PR and feeling like they're in a forever plateau. The other thing that could happen is that the trainee is just consistently undershooting what would be an effective intensity. They're taking everything to mild discomfort, basically the type of training you're seeing me do right now as part of my concussion rehabilitation. They never push to the top end of the rep range, they just stay neatly in that pocket. And so the app never prescribes an increase in the load. They may get some results initially, but those results plateau and they're just spinning their wheels ad infinitum. And for at least some of the folks that applies to, that could have been prevented by just assigning intensity targets. Do it. Do it. On flexibility, I'm giving it do it. Next up is flexibility, and on that, I'm giving it 1.5 out of 2. The bare bones nature of the app gives you a lot of flexibility over how you conduct your training. Every good app should have an exercise substitution feature, most of them do, and this one's is so lovely. It gives you an immediate short list of viable options based on your available equipment, and if you're not satisfied with those, you can dig deeper and it's still quite easy to find alternatives. You can also subtract or add sets with each exercise, no problem. It's not quite as slick as the apps that will just automatically change the number of sets or exercises based on you entering an adjustment of how much time you have that day. But, you know, that's not a deal breaker. I'd call that feature more of a luxury. It's okay to say, hey, why don't you just figure it out yourself, especially if you're offering the app at a fraction of the cost of those other ones. The main problem that I've encountered in the process of reviewing this app is that it's kind of difficult to do some fairly basic things that I would treat as an expectation. For example, one of the things that most apps should allow you to do is come back in after having to interrupt a workout to finish those last few sets or last couple of exercises. This app just doesn't let you do that. Once you've logged it, it's done. I've seen that with other apps, and those apps should also fix that because, well, frankly, do you know what does let you do that really easily? If a notebook is beating you in terms of basic functionality, that's a problem with your app. There's also no way to control your split. Those who are familiar with my personal pet peeves will know where this is going. If you do 1, 2, or 3 days, it's a full body split. If you do 5 or 6, it's like a push-pull legs. And of course, if you pick 4 days, you get an upper-lower split. And I fucking hate upper-lower splits. There's so many ways you can organize your training. Why is it that you're assigned upper-lower? That you have to have 2 leg days a fucking week because 4 days a week is what works for you schedule-wise? Why are you recommending 5 days a week? Lots of people don't have that. Quit making them feel bad about that, by the way. I wasn't even going to bring that up, but I'm angry. And apparently that was in there. Maybe I assume most people don't care about this as much as I do, but, you know. And lastly, once you change anything about the program, it is going to fully reset. Whatever that previous program was is gone now. This isn't a huge issue. All the programming is going to look very, very similar for the most part, but it's just something to bear in mind. It certainly made my job a little more difficult, so whatever. Moving on to enjoyability, I'm giving it 1.5 out of 2. As always, there's an asterisk here. You can be the judge of whether or not you like the style of programming of something, but from my point of view, I think they do a really good job of giving you a nice bare bones setup that, again, is very frictionless and very easy to follow. I'm just speaking to my personal enjoyment, but I am really glad to be reviewing this app at a moment where I really needed it. Specifically, what I needed was a very self-guided approach to training, one that wasn't telling me to do more than I was up for, and I was able to auto-regulate very easily, in part because it doesn't tell you how hard to push. It just tells you to add weight if you hit the top end of every set. In kind of a roundabout way, I am now going to praise a feature that I criticized earlier. Make of that what you will. The point being, I never felt like it was assigning expectations to me that I wasn't able to match. I guess the only ding I will offer as far as its approach to programming is that there's no real twists to it. There aren't any gimmicks. There aren't any even intensity techniques that are generally prescribed. You're doing straight sets. You're doing double progression. You're doing basic movements. So if you like being able to do things like drop sets, myo reps, forced reps, any of that kind of thing, you might find this app's approach a little boring. But again, I think the people for whom that is an appeal, this app isn't really for you anyway. Fortunately, the app never really gets in your way either. It's not cumbersome to use. And so I have scored it with that in mind, since clearly that is part of its intentions. And lastly, on value, I give it 1.5 out of 2. I can't give it 2 out of 2 on value. I kind of made my one exception with Macro Factor just for the sheer cost to feature ratio that it delivers. For Hevy, the value comes from the fact that it is delivering something that is very simple and very effective, and it is charging accordingly. My current subscription costs $4 a month, and that is because I opted for monthly instead of annual, which would have brought it down to a total per year of $42. That is wildly cheaper than any workout app I have reviewed so far. For any fitness service, that is half the price I charge for one session in the gym as a personal trainer. So while it has fewer features than a lot of its competitors, it does one thing incredibly well, and for a lot of people, that's exactly what they need. So yeah, again, thank you for recommending that I review this. I think this is one of the better apps that I've encountered. As far as general tips of how to use this app best, I have a couple of thoughts. The main one has to do with RPE. For starters, opt in. You should be tracking how hard your sets are. It's just as valuable a piece of information as how much weight you lifted and for how many reps. And remember, you should be pushing your sets according to what you're trying to actually make happen, and you should be trying to make regular progress on these lifts over time. If you are training for strength, try to keep your RPEs somewhere between 6 and 8 for the most part on your main movements. Your accessories, you can go a little bit harder. And most importantly, whatever apps or programs or whatever you're doing, just make sure that you're using them to go get friggin' strong.